Visa vya kupooza kwa ubongo katika jamii vinaongezeka kila kuchapo. Wataalamu wa afya wakisema hali hii haichagui pa kutua. Tulifunga safari kuelewa ni vipi wazazi na jamii kwa jumla inaishi na watoto hawa ambao wamepooza ubongo. Wazazi na jamii hujipata na mawazo mtoto anapozaliwa na hali ya kupooza kwa ubongo.
At 6 months, my son was not sitting, my son was not able to control his neck.
We even thought he wouldn't survive.
Maisha haya yana changamoto si haba.
People could treat him differently and even say unkind things to him.
We had the fear of getting other babies because we didn't know what will happen.
What I encourage every mother who is expectant is you need to go to your antenatal visit. Cerebral palsy is a condition which causes difficulties with posture and movement for children, and this is because of a disturbance in the brain that occurred either before the baby was born or even after the baby was born.
Tulitaka kujua taswira ilivyokuwa wakati baadhi ya wazazi tuliozungumza nao walivyopokea habari kuwa watoto wao wanapooza ubongo.
When Jabali was 1.5 years, he had a major conversion attack, a major one. We even thought he wouldn't survive.
At 6 months, my son was not sitting, my son was not able to control his neck, and there he was so tiny still at 6 months. We had to start the therapies, and the physiotherapies that we started were good.
Karungu has told you he was born with cerebral palsy out of a difficult birth. And I think from then on, I was aware from very early that we might have issues with him because the doctor warned me.
For a mother who, when she's pregnant, she's noticing my child is not moving as often, or the mother is unwell and has a premature baby. So the chances are higher if your baby comes out early. The chances are higher if there's been some abnormal movements that the mother has noticed when she's pregnant. But it's very difficult to tell what the chances are because it depends on what we call the etiology, what has caused that cerebral palsy.
Wazazi wa watoto walio na hali hii na jamii ya karibu hukumbwa na mzongo wa mawazo kutokana na unyanyapaa ulio katika jamii.
So after going for counseling, I was able just to come out and believe that it's only me who can talk about my son.
We got Jay, we were advised to let him know about his brother from the early age. So when he was growing up, we used to tell him, Toto, you see, we would try to show that Jabali bado ni mtoto, so Jay should take care of Jabali.
Licha ya baadhi ya wazazi kuhofia unyanyapaa, wazazi hawa wanaomba wanaogopa kuwatambulisha watoto wao kwa jamii wasiogope.
Others will hide their children just because they want to hide. They don't want stigma. I want to tell them there is no stigma in giving birth to a child with disability.
If you are locking the child because you have nothing else to do, that probably I would say it's not really your fault. But if you are hiding them because you are feeling ashamed or something like that, I think that's a very cruel thing to do for both the child and for yourself because you don't feel free.
I know it's not an easy journey, but the moment you are in denial, even your daughter or your son cannot progress. And also you should let the society know that you have a daughter or a son who has a disability, so that they can embrace him or her
Hata madaktari wanawahimiza wazazi kufika hospitalini kwa ushauri ili kuweza kukubali hali ya watoto waliopooza ubongo.
For nowadays we have IVF treatments where children are being born as twins, and sometimes when you have twin pregnancies it puts you at risks for having prematurity and even having cerebral palsy. So as difficult as it is to control, but what I encourage every mother who is expectant is you need to go to your antenatal visits. The reason for that, the doctors can be able to detect any problems that you have, because it's not only cerebral palsy we worry about, but if mom has diabetes or has high blood pressure or has even HIV, we need to take control of these conditions because it gives better baby outcomes. So it's not only for cerebral palsy, but for good baby outcomes, we need regular visits in the antenatal clinic that are available in different counties.
Nikizungumza na Deborah Kioko, alinieleza kuwa hakukubali hali ya mtoto wake Joseph hadi wakati aliamua kutafuta ushauri nasaha.
First of all is to accept. Counseling is about accepting your situation, accepting your problem, and talking with someone to help you bring out the best solution in you. Because that person is not supposed to give you a solution. It's you. So I felt I needed someone to talk to openly so that I can look at what I can do best for my son. And yes, it comes a time when you say, yes, I'm weak, but I need someone to help me wake up and move.
Kulingana na utafiti wa wataalamu wa afya ni kuwa kati ya watoto 100 wanaozaliwa, watoto 3 wana matatizo ya kupooza kwa ubongo. Sababu kuu zinazosababisha kupooza kwa ubongo ni ugonjwa wa meningitis, upungufu wa damu, mshtuko wa moyo, matatizo ya moyo, mishipa isiyo ya kawaida na kuganda kwa damu mwilini.
So for example, for a baby who's born premature, they tend to bleed in the brain. And because of this, it will cause injuries in what's called the motor, the places in the brain that control motor movement. And this will cause now the signs of cerebral palsy, which is abnormalities in how a child is moving, in the way they are positioning themselves. And so the main causes can be due to anything in terms of infection, in terms of bleeds, in terms of even brain malformation. And some of these are even genetic driven, and we're still investigating what the genetics is, but those disturbances are the ones that cause cerebral palsy in children.
Watoto hawa wanafaa kusingwa au kukandwa ili kunoa misuli ambayo mara nyingi huganda na kuzuia damu kuingia kwenye mishipa ipasavyo.
Occupational therapy, kama vile umesikia, ni matibabu ambayo inatumia kazi, more specific kazi za the daily activities, kama tunafundisha how this kid anaweza kujishikia kitu agarau na mkono, aweze kukula, aweze kujiosha, ajifanyie the grooming, na pia kumfundisha kuketi na kusimama ili mwishowe aweze kutembea. And the main goal ya mazoezi ni mtoto aweze kucheza, kwa maana kucheza ndio sasa the activity of a child. Na hatimaye mwisho aweze kujitegemea kwa mambo zingine mwisho.
And we have to take care of bone health, because children who are not standing can get fractures of their bones. So we have to make sure that they're taking adequate calcium, because of course if you break a bone that has a major blood vessel, that can cause complications. So we have to manage the complications that come with cerebral palsy, and that way to optimize the longevity and a child living the best life that they can.
Tulitaka kujua ni vipi mtoto aliyepooza ubongo anafanyiwa mazoezi na mhudumu wa afya.
Vile nikikuja kwa mtoto, ninaanzia from since now hajaweza kufeed the chewing, so I start with the chewing muscles. Nafanya the rubbing of the chewing muscles, na facilitate. When I'm rubbing, I'm facilitating the chewing muscles, ndio mtoto aweze kutafuna kitu na kumeza mwenyewe.
Debora Kioko na wazazi wengine walianzisha kundi la kuwaleta pamoja wazazi hawa ili kusaidiana katika kuwalea watoto walio na matatizo ya kupooza kwa ubongo.
At Empress Cerebral Palsy Families Association, we encourage those parents who are at home who feel that they are scared of bringing out their children to come and join us, that they will grow so that they are able to bring out their children and be supported.
I always tag along my nanny to go meet the other kids, or when we are going on to a children's home where there are kids with disabilities, I tag along my nanny. So in the process, she learns.
Children need to have fun. Take your child out, walk in the garden, take your child to see something so they can enjoy. Childhood is supposed to be enjoyed. So we want even children who have cerebral palsy to enjoy their life. These children have a good future if we support them. We need to know what it is that they want to do for a living. If a child wants to become an accountant and they have the capacity to do so, we support them in the school setting so their future is bright.
Wazazi hawa wanasema kupata tiba ni swala gumu, wakiitaka serikali kuondoa ushuru unaotozwa vifaa na matibabu ya watoto walio na hali hii.
If the government could ease the taxes for assistive devices and drugs, make it as in, you see like how people with HIV get ARVs free. I wish they could do it for kids with disabilities, that the anticonvulsants should be free.
These multiple disabilities seem to have been forgotten, either because they are rare, so there are not too many people, but the government should not forget that they are part of society. They pay taxes for those who work. I've seen many people who sell sweets in the streets. They are not exempted from the taxes that people pay, so they would still require services from the government.
Tukitayarisha taarifa hii, tulibaini kuwa mzazi, mlezi na jamii kwa jumla inapaswa kuwavumilia watoto hawa kwa kuwa si hali rahisi kudhibiti kila siku. Walezi hawa Jacqueline Akoth na Priscilla Mutave walitueleza hali hii si rahisi, wakiwataka wanaoachiwa jukumu la kulea mtoto yeyote kuhakikisha wanatunzwa vilivyo.
Kwambia kagani akitaka kitu anataka, inabidi kwanza umsikilize, umwangalie venye anafanya, ndio urudi tena hiyo kitu ureverse, ndio ujue sasa ni nini anataka, ndio unaenda kumfanyia.
Ni kama anatafuta job. Sasa job yoyote yenye atapata, akikutania mtoto kama huyu Muigai, mwenye station yake iko hivi, asitoroke. Avumilie tu juu, maybe sahi ni kwa Muigai, ndiye amezaliwa hivyo. Yeye pia kesho anaweza zaa kama huyo.
I know many people, as they call them house girls, and what they give them a bad state of life where they are. That's not right, because this person is a person staying with your kid for the whole day, for a year come, year out, and they are doing it so well and they understand each other. Please give that person the respect she demands.
Daktari Susan Wamithi anaeleza kuwa maisha ya watoto hawa yanaweza kuwa marefu. Watoto hao wanafaa kupelekwa hospitali ili afya yao kuangaliwa mara kwa mara.
For example, for children who have cerebral palsy and seizure disorders, if you're not on your medication or if you're not compliant and following what the doctor instructs, of course, if you get seizures that are ongoing, that can reduce the life expectancy. But most of the times, children, as long as they're being monitored, the doctor is surveying on any complications, because the complications are a result of the injury to the brain.